What's going on, everybody? This is Defender of Comics, and we are going to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 3, about the Power Broker. What are your first
Yeah.
thoughts on this?
Oh yeah, another great episode. All I got to say is Zemo.
Uh, What is going on with Zemo? I never thought we would
Love it.
actually like him. I feel like I
Yeah.
like him as a character, not he's the villain of us all.
No. I mean, he's got to stab him in the back. It's got to happen, but I love him. Yeah, I'm like I want a Zemo series now.
You think
That's what I
that'll
want.
happen?
No, but I can dream.
Did you know he was rich?
Yeah. Well, not in the MCU, but in the comics, yeah. Like you said, I'm a Baron. Yeah, he's loaded.
I didn't know
you
that
know,
this Zemo was gonna be loaded like he is in the comics, where he had everything.
no.
It was pretty neat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely a different character from what we saw in Civil War. It's like, whoa, okay, this is not exactly who we saw. This is Baron Zemo. This is the Marvel comic villain Baron Zemo. What we saw in Civil War was something else.
Yes, 100%. Well, let's get started on what we want to talk about first, and
Yeah,
if you
let's
want
do
to
it.
go into it while I find a good photo. I mean, it is what it is, and we all feel this way. It's just like we felt on WandaVision's director, Hayward. We didn't like him. And what do you think
Oh,
of
right.
Mr. John
Oh,
Walker?
Johnny Walker. Yeah, we didn't get a lot. We did not get a lot of time with him in Battlestar this week, but we spent a little time with him in the beginning, and they're searching for information, and Mr. Walker comes on strong, and we get to see a little bit of unsteadiness, a little
Yeah,
bit of short fuse going on here.
when do you think that's going to get worse? Do you think something is it building up to something happening to where he finally just blows up?
Yeah, next episode this week. Next episode, it's John Walker Battlestar centric, and something happens, and he loses it because there's blood on the shield.
Do you think there might be a chance that Battlestar dies?
I think there's a likelihood he. That's too bad too, because I always liked Battlestar,
I don't like
but I
this
think in the
Battlestar.
MCU, no, he's just so. There's a lot of potential with Battlestar here, but I think he's collateral damage in this show in the MCU.
Which is
I
going
think
to
he's gonna,
catapult John Walker to what he is.
yeah, he's gonna already kind of be a loose cannon, cocky kind of guy, and something's gonna happen and push him over the edge. And I think that's what it's gonna be.
I mean, in this episode right here, even at the beginning, he was almost ready to go over the edge.
I was, I thought he was gonna start pounding on the guy. I really did. And I almost kind of wish he would have, because just to start this kind of going, like, okay, yeah, he's already getting a little violent. Maybe Battlestar kind of holds him back. It's like, John, can't be doing this. And then next week he crosses a line.
Again, though, we're in episode 3, and we're already wishing more would happen. And it's sort of like how WandaVision was the slow, steady climb. And I feel
Yeah.
that we're getting that right now with this.
Yeah, I mean, certain elements are slow to move forward, but it's like they got so much ground to cover that in some instances, hey, we're going here, we're doing this, we're introducing that, we're Zemo's here, it's like, so we're moving fast here, but then this other storyline is ground to a halt. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens if they can do it, tie it all together after episode 6. But you're right, it feels a little slow in some areas.
There's 9 episodes, correct?
No, no, 6.
Wait, what?
There's only 6 episodes.
There was 9 of WandaVision, right?
I know, but
Okay, so
they were a
now
little shorter.
I'm
They were
freaking out even
shorter.
more because we still have to see eventually. I would think Falcon has to become Captain America at some point in this.
Yeah, I just saw another toy image of him in the outfit, so it's gonna happen without question.
Man, it's got to happen. Like the ball, when I guess the snowball starts rolling, it's just gonna be rolling in the last 2 episodes, I would guess. Then
Yeah, I'm guessing doesn't really get into that costume in the last episode. And maybe that was like a full hour or something. Because these are longer episodes. I mean, they're good 45 minutes before credits. So much longer than the WandaVision show.
Way better. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you're actually sitting there watching a show, getting into it, and the
Right.
credits aren't rolling right when you get into it.
Right. Yeah.
And
So
that's what.
that part of it is better.
Um, anything more you have on John Walker being an a-hole?
No, I mean, that was kind of that scene short. We didn't get a lot of time with him, but apparently episode 4 is John Walker centric. What I'm sure we'll have Bucky and Zemo and everyone in the episode, but there's
You
going to be a
think it'll
lot of
be
attention paid.
you think it'll be flipped on the time, like John Walker would get what they got this week?
I think they're going to have to give him some substantial screen time. Probably, I think the most he's had so far is what I've read, but we'll
Okay.
see. It's definitely going to be more than last week. He's definitely going to be central to this episode. So.
I don't think though I want them to go now like WandaVision did, where it would go finally telling you backstories and you don't really see Wanda or Vision. I don't want it to build up with Zemo and then not really see him much at all in this next episode. You know what I mean? We're getting into Zemo.
Yeah.
We're ready to see Zemo do more and more. I mean, we just
I'm a
finally
little.
saw the purple mask.
I know we got. Yeah, we'll get to it at the very end of what happens at this episode. But yeah, I'm hoping that isn't like, hey, we're introducing this story development, but we're not gonna visit it until episode 5. So yeah, hopefully that isn't what happens.
All right. Speaking of Zemo, we're gonna now talk about him. And like I said at the beginning, I like him. I mean, I just like him.
Well, he's got a lot of things going for him. I mean, the actor is like perfection.
Yep.
Super actor, anyway. If you haven't seen The Alienist, go watch him. Yeah, so he does a superb job playing Zemo, and now we're actually getting the comic version of Zemo. And I love Civil War, and I liked him in Civil War. But it was like, that really wasn't the Zemo we all know and love. It worked for Civil War, but now we've got Zemo.
Yeah. I want to see, more than anything, I want to see Zemo with the sword. Because he was very good with the sword, and I want to see him with the sword.
Yeah, that's kind of his master weapon. So, yeah, I hope they introduce that element. Yeah, that will be kind of disappointing if they don't, but I'm kind of learning to temper my expectations with these shows. So,
what did you think about how Zemo tried hard with the Winter Soldier to give him the code words?
Oh, I loved it. He was just messing with him, like, yeah, I'm gonna see if this still works. Yeah, you never know. We'll never know what's still down there deep inside. So,
Bucky, it's not gonna work.
yeah. I really loved how he gets back with Sam. Bucky does, and like, let me just give you a hypothetical. And he walks through everything, how Zemo escapes from jail. So that was pretty sweet.
Yep.
I thought they did that pretty well. Someone said, "Oh, it was way too easy." I'm like, come on. What? It was a little easy, but it was still cool how they pulled it off.
I thought it was great. How they did it, and Sam was like, "You did what?" I mean, I loved it. I really personally, right now, I want more of Bucky. Like, I'm really liking his character even way more than I did in Civil War or anything. I want to see more of him.
Yeah, everyone's kind of gravitating towards Bucky. I mean, we all love Sam and the Falcon, but there is something compelling about Bucky and what he's been through and the tragedy. And it's just like, man, his storyline is just so much more compelling.
Yes.
And it's like, I really, I kind of want to just stay with him.
This might sound sick, but if you could go back and do a series with Winter Soldier when he was the Winter Soldier, I wouldn't mind it.
It would be very... Yeah, I've always thought Marvel should do like at least a mini series of him as the Winter Soldier. I mean, I guess they're thinking, well, he's just a robot. He's basically can't do anything. So how are we going to do a storyline with him when he's just a loaded gun, essentially?
Yeah, I mean,
I guess I could be.
I understand that. I mean, how far do you really go with that? Maybe at least
Yeah,
a little bit of more of a backstory than what we've even gotten, like in depth, a
yeah,
little more in depth. But I guess they touched on that the first episode a little bit.
yeah. I mean, it seems like you could go into a storyline where he starts to push back and maybe rebels and almost gets his mind back for a really short period of time, and you could make a little storyline there.
Yeah,
And then the end of the storyline would be, well, he's gets sucked back into Hydra, and then for the next many years he's the Winter Soldier. But it'd be cool, like you said, to have something in the middle of that as he's becoming the Winter Soldier, as he's learning how to work his
yeah.
arm and all that kind of stuff would be cool.
And then
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
on the flip side, future wise, I mean, he becomes Captain America before Sam does.
Yeah, he does. And I thought it's an Alex Ross designed costume. It's freaking cool costume, man. It's a
See,
combo of like Cap's old shield. Like in the 40s, Cap didn't have a round shield. He had a pyramid,
yeah,
shield. And Alex Ross designed that costume. It was really a brilliant Captain America costume design.
that
So
sounds cool.
love it.
That
I
sounds
wish I
cool.
could see it. Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna go to one thing that I already probably spit it out too soon, but Zemo's pretty rich.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of this throwaway line that Sam gave, but you go to his house and he's got all these cars collected. You're like,
These
okay,
cars
there's
are
a bunch of
awesome. Like that's what I
yeah,
got pulled up
yeah,
right now and looking at all these older cars, and even some are like in their
yeah,
own little like really encasement, I guess you
yeah,
would say.
yeah. It's super cool.
Did you notice
Uh,
in the one car what you saw?
what? Well, I mean, I maybe missed it.
The first time we saw it in a seat, his
Oh,
mask.
his mask. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, yeah, that was cool. I wonder what if they'll go into that. Like, why was his mask? Why does he wear a mask? And why was it in that car? So that was interesting.
Do you, being as big of a comic guy as you are, is that any little bit of upsetness that he should be scarred and that he's not?
I mean, it just makes more sense for him to have the mask on all the time, is because he's so scarred that he
Yeah.
just has it on. And I think there's something cooler about that. So yeah, it makes sense with that they're not going to do it for this because he's not scarred.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why they didn't do it in Civil War, because it's like, well, how do we put him in a mask and make it make sense? But uh, yeah, it is kind of like, that's the cooler part, and that's why he wants revenge, is because maybe it would have been cool, like how Crossbones was scarred.
Yeah.
It's like at the end of Civil War, Zemo is scarred and he has to wear a mask all the time, and he wants revenge on Steve. Well, now he can't get revenge on Steve because he's gone.
Yep.
That would have been another cool way to do it, but this is gonna work, I guess.
Well, he doesn't just have cars, he has a private jet.
Right, like we said, that was the line. Sam was like, "So wait a minute, you're rich?" "Yes, Sam, I'm a baron."
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to dive into Zemo about?
Um, well, he has a pretty cool scene we'll get to at the end of the episode. I just thought it was funny when he's with his butler, his Alfred, I guess.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
100% felt that way.
they're flying and, "Good to see you, sir."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'll see if there's any food in the back." And he says in whatever language he's speaking, German or what, I don't know what it is. He's like, "If it doesn't pass a smell test, give it to them."
Yeah. I thought that
He's
was
like,
pretty funny
"Ha
too.
ha ha, sir, it's good to have you back." That's great.
No, I like this whole little, And that's one really good thing, in my opinion, about the Winter Captain or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is that it is longer episodes that you can get stuff like that. They're not just trying to shove everything in to be an episode real fast. They're having a little
Yeah,
humor, having some,
right.
some information that we need. Where
Yeah.
I don't think you got all of that with WandaVision just because of how fast the episodes were.
Yeah, I mean, they were going with that, sitcom style.
Yep.
So, all the other Marvel shows should be more like this, except for She-Hulk, which is supposed to be it might even be 10, 30-minute episodes, is what I've heard. So,
All
but
right.
yeah, this has all been good. Zemo so far, loving what we're seeing. Kind of
Yep.
shocked, like, I guess if there was one minor criticism, you might think, wow, they really kind of got chummy with Zemo after the events of Civil War and him being locked up
Pretty
with this.
fast.
Pretty fast. I like it because their dynamic is so fun and it works. And I like Zemo and they're all charismatic and
Yeah.
you like what you're seeing. You're
Yep.
like, but if you really think too hard, it's like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. There's some pretty hard feelings there with what Zemo did.
Yeah,
So
I don't disagree with that. So, next one, Madripoor. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
yeah, Madripoor. This has got huge ties to the X-Men world, specifically Wolverine. This is where Wolverine would go hang out all the time in his downtime from the
Really?
X-Men.
Why don't I know
Yep.
that?
Well, in the early or late 80s, when Wolverine, after years of being like one of the most popular Marvel characters, finally got his own solo series outside of the X-Men, it featured him in Madripoor exclusively. That's where he was, and he never wore his costume. He just had an eye patch, and they called him Patch. Like,
Huh.
oh, I don't. Oh, it's like Clark Kent in glasses. Oh, you've got a patch on your eye. You can't be Wolverine.
We don't know who you are.
We don't know who you are.
But the
So
bridge that they had on there, it was so that scene, that's what I have up. It like the city behind it, it was such a cool looking scene that they
yeah,
had of a bit. Now explain a little bit of they had uptown and they had downtown, correct? Is that how they called it?
yeah. Now I don't know what the specifics of that exactly is. Um, it's basically just uptown is a little better. Downtown is just it's pretty rough. So there used to be, at least in the comics, a kind of a woman called Tiger, and she was the ringleader of Madripoor, and she had the hots for Logan.
Okay.
And so he kind of would always be able to find out information. She wasn't like totally evil. She's like, ran the criminals there, but she kept things orderly. And so if you ran afoul of anyone, she was fair, and Wolverine would sometimes befriend her. And he'd utilize her for sources, and so he was always getting what he needed out of Madripoor there.
Well, it sounds like
So
why is Madripoor? I mean, it sounds like it is a very very important city to Marvel in general. So why is this
yeah,
really?
you're gonna
Is
see
this the
more of
first
it.
time we've seen it?
Yeah. This first time, and that's why when everyone heard that we were gonna get Madripoor, everyone's, oh my gosh, we're getting Wolverine. Wolverine's coming to the MCU. This is how we're gonna be introduced to Wolverine.
Okay.
And I understand where fans would think that, but it's not really gonna happen.
We're back to Quicksilver all over again.
Yeah. It's like, don't get excited, guys. If
We've
there's a
already been
little
there.
tease, yeah, we've learned our lessons.
We're
Yeah,
not gonna get our hopes up.
right.
What'd you think of Sam's outfit?
Oh, for his Winter Soldier routine.
Yeah,
Oh no! Oh no! I'm sorry. You said Sam. Yeah.
yeah,
What
Sam.
what was his name?
I can't think of
Smiling Snake or
something like that.
Smiling?
It was something weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
try to.
Zemo had a lot of good quotations. Oh yeah, back on the plane when he's that's just great when Sam and Bucky were going at it. Like, you didn't like Trouble Man? He's like, it's all right. I like 40s music. And even Zemo's like, how can you not like Trouble Man? It's like it captures the African American experience perfectly. And he goes, he's out of line, but he's right.
That's
And then
hilarious.
he criticizes Sam for like only a American would think, a snappy dressed black man would be a pimp. And it's like that's good stuff.
I love that whole back and forth on that. That was funny as heck.
Yeah, yeah.
So they went downtown and they're at a club. And why is it so important that Winter Soldier has to act like he's Winter Soldier? I mean, explain that to somebody that doesn't know anything.
Well, I mean, this is modern day pirates. So this is Pirates of the Caribbean, fast forward however many hundreds of years and well, a couple hundred, whatever. And yeah, so you can't be Bucky Barnes, reformed, pardoned guy. You got to be the Winter Soldier. Everyone knows who the Winter Soldier is, the myth. And
Okay.
so it's like the criminal underworld are familiar with the Winter Soldier, and if you have him with him, he's got to be the Winter Soldier.
Okay.
So you got to blend in.
What
So
is there any significance? And I'm going to throw you off on this question. When they were walking into the club, there was a big like photo of a symbol of like I think it was a gorilla. Do you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about? There's a purple like gorilla all lit up, or is that just something they put in?
yeah. If it's an Easter egg, it's not one I caught.
Okay.
So yeah,
Don't
but
mean
it
to
could
put you
be.
on. That was just something typical that I'm sure everybody's on trying to figure out what the Easter egg is of that.
Yeah. Well, there's another one later on that you've probably caught too, and it was like, what?
You want to say that later, or you want to say that now?
Yeah, we'll say it later. Yeah.
Okay. So what's going on that Zemo is trying to figure out? Why are they at this bar?
Yeah, well, they're just trying to track down information on the power broker. So, well, first of all, they're trying to figure out where did who's going to know most about super soldiers. You go to Zemo because of his research with Hydra. He's got all these ties. You utilize him to track down where the hell is eight or 18 or what I think they thought eight super soldiers. Where did they come from? Well, all these years later, I mean, yeah, they found out about Isaiah, but now you have them all running loose and causing problems. We got to figure this out. So
Right.
Zemo's sources have led them to Madripoor and to this woman Sybil. So, which doesn't last long.
And why do you feel like it got a little physical? Winter Soldier became Winter Soldier and kicked everybody's ass. I mean,
Yeah,
he flat out
kind of.
did.
Yeah, kind of easy. Yeah.
So, what do you think that made basically when they did that, that made it for sure that's who these people are. And then they were like, okay, we can give you where to find Power Broker or whatever, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess the trust started
So,
happening there when they could believe it.
yeah. Well, Zemo's got sources, he's got ties, he has ties to the civil woman. She's a big power player in Madripoor, apparently. And so she gives him, hey, it's the power broker as the person, and here's who you want to find. So she gives up a name, and now how they were going to get out of this, because obviously they weren't going to give over Bucky to her. So I guess they were going to have to fight their way out anyway.
It was funny. Zemo was like, okay, like no problem.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
didn't
we've
care.
got this.
We'll,
But they
we'll,
get saved, man. They get saved after Sam gets called by his sister, and their cover is blown.
I'm
I
getting.
do like when he's trying to cover it up, and he says, she's like, have you been back to the bank? Or she said something about the bank. He's like, yeah, that bank we've laundered so much money through.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not slick, Sam. It's funny.
Do you like how they did it? That tied in to where that's how they got busted. Was a phone call from his sister.
I think it was very lead up, and his buddy up undercover stuff. We've seen it, many
Yeah.
times. How like you're going undercover, the two cops, and your cover gets blown by some kind of stupid thing like that.
Another Beverly
So
Hills Cop situation.
yeah, Beverly Hills Cop, Tango and Cash, Lethal Weapon, all that good stuff.
I did
So
like how she made him put it on speakerphone. I thought that was very
yeah,
well done there.
yeah. But she gets taken out. Boom, she gone.
All right, I am trying to get
Now they're in
to.
trouble.
I'm trying to get to the part where they are saved. Okay, got it. They end up being saved. Do you want to say by who?
Yeah, we got a benefactor, and it is Agent 13, Sharon Carter.
Does that surprise you? I mean, we all knew this was coming.
No, yeah. Well, we saw her at the bar. I was like, oh, there's Sharon. She had a little hoodie on.
I don't think I saw her. Now that you say that.
Yeah. They walk in. She's kind of. I was like, oh, there's Sharon. So she's.
I'm gonna have to watch that again.
Yeah. But what was shocking is that once they get saved by her and how she kind of lets them have it, like she's not pardoned. She can't go home.
Yep.
I was like, damn, that sucks.
And I didn't realize any of that. I mean,
no, I mean, it sounds like Sam and them didn't really realize it either. And of course, they didn't reach out with everything going on. And she's been left to flounder and is stuck in Madripoor, basically making the best of things.
does that. I mean, it's sort of like how you're finding out about Sam that didn't have any money after all this. And again, that's something we didn't ever think about, a superhero having to worry about money. But then I guess I never even thought about Sharon and that she wouldn't have the same thing that the Avengers would have had. So I thought that was pretty cool how they swung that.
Yeah, I mean, and then you kind of think on the one hand, like, well, is that really realistic? Surely somebody would have checked on Sharon.
Yeah, because she was a pretty big wig, though, right? I mean, what she was at.
But on the flip side, too, it's like she didn't go on the run with them. When they were on the run for 2 years with Steve.
Yep.
And then when they weren't, they went directly into, Infinity War and then Thanos and the blip. And that, so it's like, well, you have other things to think about. And then pretty soon you don't think about it. So, exactly. I mean, it's interesting. Yeah.
I was okay with how they did. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. It made you think a little bit too.
Yeah.
Now, the big question is Sharon a good guy?
Well, I mean, she kind of like makes it pretty plain that, I'm doing whatever I can to survive, dealing in, black market art and selling it, making profit. I'm in Madripoor. I may as well go along to get along.
And she's uptown.
She's uptown, yeah. So she's dealing in the finer stuff and dealing in who knows what. And she seems pretty jaded. She seems pretty out of sorts. I mean, she's not really the Sharon that we remember.
She's uptown, but always is spending time in downtown too.
Right, yeah. So I think there's going to be a twist. I don't know.
I think there's going to be a big twist.
Yeah.
I mean, I made predictions on WandaVision, and all of them were wrong. But I don't want to say really what I think the direction this is going, but I think it's going to happen. I don't know how else I can say it.
Otherwise, it'll just be like, well, what do you do with Sharon Carter's character going forward? It's just kind of more like,
screw it. I think she's going to be Power Broker. I'm going to say it.
I think there's a good possibility. I think she's playing both sides here.
But if you think about it, she got betrayed by the good side that she was fighting for. So why wouldn't she be like, well, screw everybody?
Well, and then, yeah, like we just said, she got forgotten too. It's like, I helped you guys escape.
Yep.
I helped out during Civil War, and then I got forgotten.
Yep.
And freaking Bucky gets pardoned, and everyone's back hunky dory, and I'm stuck on the run. So screw you guys. So yeah, I could see where she may have just said, yeah, guess what? I'm gonna use all my skills and build an evil empire here. I think there's a definite possibility of that.
I think it could happen. And the next thing they do is why are they going like to a shipyard? And that's where they find that is this where they think the power broker could be?
Well, Sharon utilized her sources at that party to track down that doctor, which
Oh
was the
yeah, yeah,
name
yeah.
Sybil gave.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's stuck away, and we find out that this guy, in his brilliance, was able to finally not only replicate the super soldier serum, but improve it. So anyone could take it and not become, a massive muscle. Like, basically if Steve would have taken it those years, his formula, he would have stayed small and skinny. He just would have been super strong and fast. So, so we get his little weird tail. He's like you can tell this guy's a weirdo.
Yep, 100%. But this also makes
So
me
yeah.
think more that Sharon is power broker because she knew where he was.
Well, yeah, I mean, she claims she got the source from somewhere else, but it's highly suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if she is power
and
broker, why would she give this guy up at the same time? Like I'm going back and
right.
forth on the same thing here. It just is
Well,
confusing.
and then she fights off all of those who we assume are power broker henchmen who are protecting the scientist, science doctor, whoever. And she wipes all them out while Bucky, Zemo, and Sam are talking to the doctor. So, I mean, but that could all just be a red herring. I don't know. I think there's a chance that she could be the power broker, or she could just be whatever.
Sharon gone
Boring
bad,
Sharon.
just
Yeah.
upset at the world.
Yeah. Yep.
And again, we should, have learned from WandaVision that we look too far into this stuff. But
I don't know that we want to hang our hat on this one.
Her fighting skills were badass.
Oh yeah, it was cool to see because she's one of the better fighters in Shield at the time, and so yeah, it was cool to see her kick some ass.
And she did a lot of people too.
Yeah,
she took them all on.
But speaking of kicking butt, we finally well, maybe we want to talk about Zemo. How I was like, oh, here we go. He took out the doc. I was like, I thought this was gonna shatter everything. Like, okay, well, this is where he goes bad and stabs him in the back, and I guess he kind of did, but he was not gonna let this guy live if he knew how to replicate the super soldier serum. This was not gonna happen.
And that's what people don't understand about Zemo. It's not necessarily he is the big villain, but at the same time, he doesn't want this super soldier for anyone. You know what I mean? He wants to get it gone.
Yeah, he wants it wiped out.
So it's
this
almost
guy
like
had to die.
It's almost like MODOK, where AIM, can be a villain, but they're only wanting, science and all that kind of stuff. Where he's doing the right thing, but just in the wrong way.
Yeah. I mean, his intentions had some merit. We don't need superpowered people. It brought about the death of my family. It's only going to cause more problems.
Yep.
So yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's trying to do the right thing by totally bad ways.
But this is where I thought it was going to for sure flip. Like 100%.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, okay, this is it. Yeah, he'll be doing his thing now, and Sam and Bucky are gonna be after him at the same time as whoever the power broker is. But that's not how it played out.
No, and I thought it was cool how it played out. It actually really shocked me.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, Zemo comes back, puts on the mask, proceeds to kick ass. I thought it was pretty cool.
I'm trying to get to the mask. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
That was
the
so cool
purple
where he's
mask.
walking with the mask, and
Yep,
then all of a sudden the
yep.
next thing you see is it going on. I want to see it.
So yeah, this was a cool segment. I hope we see more of it too.
Oh man, he looks so good in that too. Why they
Yeah,
didn't do
yeah,
that at all in Civil War still
yeah. It's still
blows my
kind of like,
mind.
man, it's not like some crazy costume. It's just like, man, put on the mask, make it a part of his military uniform or something. I don't know, but he
Do you
just looks so cool.
do you feel the only reason they have it in this is because they got flack for Civil War?
Yeah, It's like, hey guys, we'll make sure he has the mask in this. Yeah, oh yeah.
I
Well,
thought it
I
was
mean, here
great.
it's kind of like Zemo is one of the more uh iconic villains of the Marvel universe.
Yep.
And so it's kind of like, hey, we're gonna have Doctor Doom, but he's not gonna be in his armor.
Hey, by the way, if you want a deeper dive on Baron Zemo, we have a deeper
But he's
dive.
not actually gonna be a robot.
Right.
So, that kind of stuff. But
I thought it was great.
yeah, yeah, learn about Zemo.
We gotta plug that when we can, right?
That's exactly right.
I thought it was great.
Um,
I thought he
yeah,
looked very, very close to the comic book too in this.
yeah, he really
So,
did. I love how they have the subtle nod to his fur around the shoulders, which was the white fur with
yep.
the black polka dot stuff, and that's all around his collar of his coat. I'm like, man, that's cool nods to the costume, and it's a really good modern interpretation, and it doesn't look silly. It just looks cool.
And then I thought Zemo was gonna leave after he blew everything up. I thought he
I did
was just
too.
gonna end up leaving. Then he comes around in a car and is like, "Hey, y'all want to get in?" I thought that
This
was
was
hilarious.
another instance where I'm like, yeah, that's cool because I love having Zemo around, but at this point, it's almost like, hey, we were an accessory to you murdering that guy, but don't do it again.
Yeah, shame on you.
Shame on you. All right, let's go ride.
I was a little surprised that Sharon didn't get in, but I guess she has a vehicle somewhere else. So I don't know.
Well, she did. I mean, that's where you're kind of like, okay, what game is Sharon playing? Because she
Yep.
goes in, we have a problem. I'm like, okay. Then that's where everyone's like, oh boy, what's Sharon doing? She may not be an ally like we thought. And I think we're gonna find out that she's really not. Whether
I,
she's actually a power broker or not, maybe not,
do
but
you
I
think
don't think
if
she's
she's not the
completely an
power
ally.
broker, she has to be like the right hand man of the power broker?
She's at least yeah, she's not really the ally that they think she is.
Nope, I don't think so
I think
either.
I think we can say that pretty
I
confidently.
think you're going to find out that they were okay with getting rid of the doctor because they probably have some more of the serum of their own that they can keep mass
Yeah.
producing. That'd
Well,
be
and I
just
still think John Walker's going to get a hold of that. I still think he's going to end up getting uh, a super soldier dose. So,
and see, I always thought that
and
he
I
already
still
had it
think,
with how especially he did on the truck scene where he's jumping off and doing all that stuff. I would be shocked if he didn't already have it.
yeah, it seemed like it, but then they could just, hey, he's super athletic, whatever, it's a movie. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. We'll find out if he has already taken a dose somehow, some way. Maybe he got the tainted dose that Isaiah has, and that's why he's starting to act out and get a little loopy. So, but yeah, I mean, my prediction is somehow, some way that Zemo's gonna go into the Thunderbolts. It's not going to be exactly how the comics were with the Thunderbolts, but Zemo will be involved, and John Walker will be a part of the Thunderbolts. And
Really?
I think Bucky's, because Bucky has been a part of the Thunderbolts in the past, and I think this would be a good setup for him as well. Sam and can go do his cap thing in whatever way they're going to do that, and then Bucky's going to, I think, would be really cool to have Bucky and Zemo and John Walker, and then whoever else they end up introducing on the Thunderbolts. So
Interesting. That's an interesting take.
yeah,
What did you think of the last scene, basically, where John Walker is walking out of the prison? Do you know what I'm
Uh,
talking about? He came out mad about something. They were, I don't know who they were trying to find. It was real quick again. It wasn't anything big. It was just showing a little bit more of his temper and how he was mad at something.
was this in the end credits?
No, it's right before the end. It's when the girl and boy, the brother and sister are trying to figure out what to do next, and then he was walking out.
Oh yeah, okay.
It isn't. It was literally like less than 2 minutes. It wasn't
Yeah,
anything big.
yeah,
It was just showing again his attitude and getting very pissed
yeah,
off and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. I think we're building up to something big. I think it'll have to take place this week. If it doesn't, I'll be surprised. But according to what we've read, it's going to be U.S. Agent or John Walker centric, and we'll see what happens. I think our predictions are good that Battlestar bites it and he loses it, and people die.
A lot of people die.
Yeah,
I've
we'll see what
I've loved it.
happens.
The action has been epic. I mean, it hasn't been just good; it's been epic. So,
Yeah, it's movie quality action. So it's been, I think, everything we thought it would be. So it's been really good.
all right, we want to hear from you. What do you all think of episode 3? When do you think John Walker's finally going to just lose it completely? Do you like Zemo's character? And do you also think Sharon could be the power broker? I want to hear in
Yeah,
the comments.
yeah. Let us know what you think. So, and let us know if you think we're crazy or if we're onto something.
It might be both.
It might be both. Yeah, there we go.
All right, till next
All
time,
right.
we're out.
Okay, we'll see ya.
Bye.